Hello, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Victoria Raschke, Director of Technical Assistance and Training for the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council, and I'll be acting as moderator for today's webinar, Organizing Homeless Persons Memorial Day Events, a production of the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council with support from the Health Resources and Services Administration. This is a 40-minute pre-recorded presentation with the last 10 minutes reserved for a live Q&A session. I'd like now to introduce you to Katy, Valesky, the consumer advocate for the council. She also facilitated the recorded session with our presenters, and she'll answer questions live at the end of the session.
Thank you, Victoria. I'm delighted to introduce to you today Valarie Dowell. She's our regional representative for HRSA Regions 5 and 7. She's new to the NCAB leadership, and we're pleased to have her on board. She represents the Great Lakes states and a few central states such as Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa. She works at the Cincinnati Health Network and is a community health worker there and also provides staff support for the CAB. Thank you for being here today, Valarie.
Thank you.
I'm also pleased to introduce to you Joseph Benson. He is the chair of his CAB at the Houston Healthcare for Homeless. He also has served on their board of directors since 2004, also serving on their development committee. He is a member of the NCAB steering committee and has been active in that work for several years. We're very pleased to have Joseph on board as well. Thank you for being here today.
That's my pleasure.
So today we're here to talk to you about one of NCAB's flagship events that they promote on a national level every year, and it's Homeless Person Memorial Day. And I'm going to turn it over to Joseph to talk more about what Homeless Persons Memorial Day is.
Thank you, Katy. Homeless Memorial Day is an event where around the country we try to get different cities to come out and to think about the people that have passed away that was homeless. Because one of the things we want people to understand about homelessness is that these individuals are not named. They are someone's brother, their sister, their father, their grandfather, their parent. And a lot of them have also served off in the military. So on December 21st, we get everyone together and they do different things in different cities. Some people ring a bell, and some people just call out names. But we want people to get to the point where they can understand that those individuals they see on the street are human beings also.
Why do we do it on December 21st?
But December 21st is the day that most places around the country pick because that's on the winter equinox, and it's the longest day of the year.
Thank you, Joseph. Here's a photograph of a Memorial Day service in Denver. Like Joseph said, a lot of cities around the nation have candlelight ceremonies and the reading of names and the ringing of bells. And I'm going to turn it over to Valarie to share with us why Homeless Person Memorial Day is important.
Homeless Person Memorial Day is important in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's because a lot of people live on the riverbank, and these are the people who do not want to go into shelter. And so they are exposed to the elements of the weather. A lot of people die from living on the street, and I just want to share that this past year we had a lot of deaths from long-term homeless people who eventually got into housing and wasn't there no longer than 4 to 6 months. So we're talking about medical issues. We're talking about health care. We're talking about the right to adequate housing. So when I do die, that I can die with dignity and respect.
Thank you, Valarie. And this photograph, it's a little boy with a candle, and it calls my attention to the fact that there are people who are young and old and creed and nationality, they're all susceptible to death on the streets, and that homelessness and death on the streets are not acceptable. And this is a way to honor those who have passed and draw attention to the fact that this isn't acceptable. We shouldn't have to remember people who died on the streets without a home. So Joseph's going to talk about how you can implement an event in your community.
Well, thank you. First of all, you have to make relationships with the city, with your coroner, with your emergency room, and with the different agencies in the city in order to get a good count. What we do here in Houston, through the Houston coroner and the emergency rooms at the medical center, and we go through the different agencies, and we try to find out what individuals can pass. And if we have more than one list, we go down and make sure we don't have doubling any names. And then we have already made a relationship with City Hall, and we stand up at City Hall. They look forward to that particular day. We send out email blasts, we send out paper flashes to let people know what we're having. We're trying to get it to grow more and more each year. And what we do is we have individuals come up and they tell a story. We take and ring the bell to make sure that you can get those numbers. Now, different places can do different things. One of the things that have impressed me throughout my travels, and I've went across the country, is in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, after they have the reading, they have partnered with the city of Pittsburgh, and they make a plaque for each one individual that has passed away for that particular year. And they have a place where the homeless community normally gather up on this elevated bridge, and that was dedicated to putting those particular names out there. Different people do different things across the country. You know, what we really would just like for you to do is first to be able to just reach out and begin calling those names out, because just like what Valarie was saying earlier, you know, when these people pass, we don't want them forgotten. That's the main thing about it, because after all, they're human to talk about.
Thank you, Joseph. Did you have anything to add to that, Valarie?
Yes. One of the things that we do here is, with the partnership of all the service providers, building a relationship with the Homeless Coalition, we have one person in every homeless organization who always take down the names of people who have passed. We also collect names through the Homeless Coalition. They have a homeless congress. So when someone dies on the street, their name is turned into them. And what we do is basically what Joseph has said is, we pick a name out of the barrel and we call that person name, and we light the candle. And a lot of homeless people come, and some of the staff come, and we talk about the stories. Those stories are the things that keep them alive in our heart. So I just wanted to really express this. Sometimes we are all that they have, you know, whether it is the homeless shelter, the street outreach person, or the medical center. We might be all the families that they have. And so to do this is a way to say it, I am taking a family member and remembering who they are on December 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Valarie. Now to Toolkit that the National Coalition for the Homeless has developed with the National Consumer Advisory Board and the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council. They're a wonderful partner in this effort to publicize and help communities plan Homeless Person Memorial Day events. There's a listing in there of the 2010 Memorial Day event locations, as well as the list of those who perished last year and were remembered in December of 2010. There are also sample flyers and agendas, several press releases, a couple of state proclamations and resolutions, so that you don't have to start from scratch developing these things. Some of the highlights, and we appreciate you sending those in so we can have a more complete list every year, so that it's not just your community remembering these folks, the entire nation can take part in remembering that there were 128 people who died on the streets of Houston last year, and so that other communities can think about and remember those folks. There's also an article from a street paper called Street Sense. We also encourage those type of articles so that this event can reach a broader audience both before and after the event itself. This is a program of the Denver Homeless Persons Memorial Day from last year. And Valarie and Joseph, you've already mentioned this quite well, but there was a consumer who was the first speaker. And NCAB encourages consumers to be involved as much as possible. And Denver has clearly taken that to an account. And here are some successful event ideas. And I'm going to let Joseph and Valarie share which of these they identify with and that they have seen in their communities.
Well, with me, the first in the Canada, everyone likes Canada, like Valarie said, after reading it each night. There's a read cell. We normally have someone from the community do a prayer. And we have someone out of the mayor's office to come and speak, and someone from the Coalition for the Homeless. We have someone from the different service providers to do things. And then we invite people to come with their poetry and chants and different things. We use basically all of the steps that you have on this successful event.
Great. Valarie, anything else to add to that?
Well, we do the same thing as you could see on the slide. We have the barrel with the fire and candlelight, and we also have the new press there. And sometimes someone from the city hall will come and participate. But mostly people who are showing up are those who are helping and the service provider and the CAB.
When I read in several of the programs that some events had music and poetry, and some folks gave remembrances and went up on a mic and shared what they knew about a friend who had passed. So I thought that was a beautiful way to remember someone important to them. I'm showing pictures of our event in Nashville from a few years ago. The gentleman in the center of your screen is actually a leader from the Homeless Power Project here in Nashville. And he's sharing some of the realities of the deaths of the people who experienced homelessness in Nashville. And as you can see, their flags. This is an official ceremony at the waterfront park near our river. And this is our vice mayor at the time, Howard Gentry, and he was involved with the Homeless Commission here. So he was speaking about the travesty, and if you could see on the ground, there's a wreath there. So that's another option to kind of have some kind of physical representation, the candles as well as maybe a wreath to commemorate the event. This is the poster that is available on our website. I think it's a really powerful message.
Homeless people die from illness that affects everyone, frequently without health care. Homeless people die from exposure, unprotected from the heat and cold. Homeless people die from violence, often in unprovoked hate crime. Health care is a human right. Housing this time.
Thank you, Valerie.
Last week was a real difficult week here in Cincinnati. One of our clients died. But he died in housing. And the service was just beautiful. Because a lot of times we come together and when we think they don't have family, we have a wonderful pastor here, Pastor Cook. And he is another person who collects the names of the home. And he opens up his church to for service. And that's where we're going to start our day on December the 21st. It's at the church, the First Lutheran Church here in Cincinnati.
We appreciate all you do to try and help those who are on their way to recovery and on their way to housing. Unfortunately, Homeless Person Memorial Day is a reality of our work, isn't it?
Yes. Most people don't realize that the mortality rate of a homeless individual is 30 years less than this person that is housed.
That's a lot of life lost.
Well, the average rate of a person, male or female, that's housed is 80 years old. For men on the street, it's 50 years old, and for women on the street, it's 44 years old. The National Consumer Advisory Board shares that the best homeless person Memorial Day events are those where consumers of homelessness services be involved to the greatest extent possible in planning and implementing these events. The National Consumer Advisory Board is gathering data on the names of those remembered this year and will post those names on their website at www.nhc.org/memorialday.html. Write a story for your local street paper, advertising or commencing the event, and submit a link to your article can be featured in next year's mag. And we're talking about the Consumer Advisory Board mag.
And where would they send that to?
They send that NCAB. The NCAB email address is NCAB@nhchc.org.
Thank you, Joseph.
This photograph is in Washington Park. Washington Park at this time is being dug up. It's being given a new life. But this is the park where the homeless would go sleep at, and this is where organizations would feed them at. And on this night, it was a very cold night also. But there was a lot of participation, and that is one of my concerns that I'm beginning to see with photos around the state is a lot of providers doesn't think this day as serious anymore. And so what I'm reaching out and what I'm asking all the organizations to do is to, if you have to start the event a little earlier during the day, before 5 o'clock, before you go home and don't want to come back out, please do so. Make this the best event of the year, because it's so important that these people get an opportunity to have somebody to just call their name and to remember them in their heart. And so, as you can see there was a lot of participation. A lot of love. We have to remember the people who we serve.
Sounds like the event provides a lot of closure for those folks who are participating as well.
Yes. I mean, it's when you're working with clients, you develop a relationship with them. And there's some going to go in housing, there's some that is not going to go in housing. There's some that are going proper memorial service. You know, and basically that's what this really is. When someone calls your name, it's letting me know that you haven't forgotten about me.
This is Katy Valesky. I want to thank Joseph, Benson, and Valarie Dowell again for contributing such beautiful words to our webinar today. There are resources available to you. Also want to thank the Denver CAB, especially Tom Rossi, for submitting photographs, as well as the Nashville Consumer Advisory Board for their photograph contributions. Wanted to give you guys an idea of the resources we have available. NCAB has produced more resources this year than ever before. Those are available at www.nhchc.org/memorialday.html. There you will find a planning manual link that you can access the planning manual that we referenced earlier. You can also access a survey. We would like to hear from you if you need more assistance. If this has piqued your interest and you want some more specific assistance. We also would like to hear your stories about what you're going to do, and after the fact what you have done, and the names of those you want to remember. We will be posting those on our website unless you state otherwise. You can also access our poster and some examples of other events. And again, you can request technical assistance through the survey. I want to thank again our partners at the National Coalition for the Homeless. You can visit them at nationalhomeless.org for more information on this and their other important work. Thank you, Katy. We'll begin our Q&A session now with our first question. If you also have any other questions, please type those in the chat box at the bottom and we'll get those to Katy. Our first question is, if we filled out the survey for our event and something changes, can we fill out the form again? Yes, we encourage you to fill it out as many times as is necessary. So if you tell us what you're planning to do and then it changes, feel free to submit that again. If you tell us what you plan to do, please let us know how it went after the fact as well. So fill it out as many times as needed. We'll keep the most current event information on our website, so if you want that to be updated, just submit another survey. Thank you, Katy. Our second question is, can we still have an event in our community if we don't have a consumer advisory board? Yes. Speaking for NCAB, they would love for there to be a Homeless Person Memorial Day event in every community where one is necessary. This might be a good way to recruit a CAB if you don't yet have one, or to get your CAB involved in perhaps their first event. This is a great way to get consumers in your community involved. And many of them, unfortunately, will probably know those who've passed, so they could probably contribute in that way and remembering them. We have one final question for Katy, if we don't have any other ones coming in. Katy, is there help available in communities if they are trying to get local officials to come and speak? Is the council able to help them with that? Yes, and we have several consumers who've dealt with some challenges with public officials, and they can provide advice, and we're happy to connect you with folks who've been there and done that and succeeded. So. Again, you can fill out our form at nhchc.org/memorialday.html, and we're happy to help. Thank you. That was our last question. I'd like to thank everyone for attending the webinar today. You can also visit our website for more information on other upcoming webinars. We have several in the next couple months. And you can go to our website to donate or become a member. Thank you for attending, and this meeting is now closed.